Keep it real already.
I know,
Spicing
right?
starts now.
I had to think about the consequences of my words.
Yeah, man. People with hair complaining about bad hair days. Don't worry, I used to be one of them. All right, we're live. I think we're live everywhere. Awesome. Cool. GM, everybody. Welcome to another early morning crew. Sans one. We have Gramajo and myself today. We'll have Diana back one day. But today
One day.
is actually quite special. I wasn't planning on hosting an early morning crew today, but I think you and I both got the same message.
Yeah.
What message did you get?
Say some people wanted to hop on, and I was like, hop on to
Some
what?
people. Some people.
Yeah. I
Hey,
mean,
your mic is a bit wonky. Are you
is it?
not close? There you
I'm
go.
not
You need
close
to.
enough. Yeah,
There you go. Yeah, you seem pretty far.
I am. Yeah.
There you
Usually
go.
I keep it real close.
You're a professional podcaster, sir.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Exciting times. Definitely seen. I'm a follower of this content, so of Los Fomos. So yeah,
Los
I'm excited.
Fomos. Bow, bow, bow. I'm gonna throw some
Do we have
EMs.
Do we have soundboards?
Hang on. There you go.
There you go.
Those are the default sound clips that come with the Zoom mixer. I should probably replace them to something more cool than back to you, Johnny. Oh man. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. So, what are you up to on Area 51? Like, what are you working on? I've seen you really kind of getting nownish. Are you still deep down that rabbit hole?
Uh, I'm down a couple different rabbit holes right now.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. I'm trying to spin up more in real life events, like in my
Yeah.
community. So I've been going down that rabbit hole, trying to get some funding that way. Been spending more time with like Genosis DAO and ENS DAO actually. So
Wait,
I've been going down those rabbit holes
what did
more.
you call it?
I call it Genosis, but I think it's just called Gnosis.
Yeah. That's
I
the
gotta throw in the
first
G,
time.
as a
That's the
grammar.
first time I've ever heard it
G-
called genosis.
well, that's how you get the G unit sound.
Yeah, they're not a gangster rap group.
That's the whole point. It is. Straight thugging out here on chain.
God, you're one of those Ethereum people, aren't you?
No, 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 definitely not. No.
Hmm. I'm blasting out the stream link. Early morning crew is live. Forgive the mechanical keyboard sounds. I know it's great to hear in person. It's annoying to hear over, you know, a call.
I spared everyone with mine. Mine's pretty quiet.
You have a silent keyboard? That surprises me.
My work one is like super loud. I
So
chose
you
like
don't
the
spare people at work,
nah
just
nah.
at home.
Yeah, at home I was like, all right, I'll be gentle
That's hilarious.
to myself.
All right. And then
Um,
if I can get a couple of recasts on this,
yep, I got you. Yeah, what about you,
tag.
man? What are you up to?
Yeah,
How's
actually, I'm
on chain creator? How's coming along?
that's that's coming along. I don't know how much I can share, but I guess I can just kind of
Ooh,
tease what I have already said in I guess that's in some places is there you go. I just casted it, sorry. Um right after our creator house in New York, someone from the Ethereum Foundation reached out. They said, "That's cool. How about we try something like that in Buenos Aires during Dev Connect?" I'm like, "Oh, sounds cool." So the conversation's been going on since then. And I mean, I'm going to be there, period. Like, no question, I'm going to be there in Buenos Aires. I'm planning a coffee meetup, first of all, separately, like a satellite event, before Dev Connect kicks off. I'm probably going to be taking over some coffee shop. We'll see. I don't know how friendly the local community will take to this American coming. Hello, I will take over your coffee shop for a day, but maybe they'll enjoy it. I don't know. And then the whole goal is to like have creators, the local creators of Buenos Aires, come through and learn about the stuff we're doing, but really in a fun, no pressure, super social way. And then after that, we're planning on hosting a hackathon again during Dev Connect. So that for sure is like the one thing that we're moving full speed ahead on. The logistics of it is really how we're trying to figure out right now. But the really cool part that I'm excited about is potentially the people who did really great at the on-chain creator house. In other words, the most winning creators at the hacker house, they're probably going to get hired as the contractors for Dev Connect to cover the event, like from their perspective. And I
Nice.
think that's really cool, right? Because that's the whole point of what I envision was anybody can join these events, whether they be in person or virtual. And then if you are proving yourself as not just creative, but understanding the technology and growing your audience, this network is your home, right? The on-chain creator house network. And any event that I go to, you're going to be the first on my list of who I'm going to pitch as a creator for these events. And so far, I've pitched three creators at three events, and one is probably going to be hired at two of them. Everyone else, very likely at Dev Connect. So, you know, this goes beyond just show up and participate in a creator house. It also has to do with prove the value that you create, but retain that value through work in the space where you're free to do, like, you're free to share your vision. So I also don't believe in like scripted stuff, right? It's not fun when I tell you how to create the content. It's like, no, I hired you because I think your vision is awesome. What's up, pal? You don't have to hide. We see you. There's no lobby here, by the way.
I thought there was a lobby, so I was
Nope.
like,
No,
oh,
nope.
okay.
I thought I mentioned it. I was like, no lobby here, so just pop in 8:15. So, but I did ask you to come in early, so it's on me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just saw the message. I was a bit late because I didn't
no
check my
worries.
phone, so
No,
here I
Gramajo
am.
was late too. That's why you got the message.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
GM, buenos
Nah.
pomos.
Buenos
Buenos
dias. Still
pomos.
drinking coffee.
Don't have my drink right here, but I have a fan next to me that's blowing into my face.
I'm drinking coffee too.
She did that
Oh,
intentionally, dude. So like when she's on the
with the
call,
fan.
it's just like
Yeah,
breezy,
I
you
know.
know.
Are we talking about hair again, Gramajo? Are we doing this?
Yeah.
For the audience that doesn't know, I'm bald, so no hair here. Thank you.
Ah,
Yeah.
and what about you? You too?
No,
No,
Gramajo has
I have
beautiful hair.
too much hair. I'm having hair problems today. So
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I
that's why.
cut it all off. In fact, yesterday was my shave night, so it's like perfect baby hair or baby head skin.
That's nice when it's really warm, to be
Yeah.
honest. I
I gotta
need
be
it to.
honest with you. I used to enjoy the trouble of making my hair all nice and messy, right? Like that whole toss up look. But it can get annoying when you're trying to get somewhere real fast. So now I just get up and I leave. No time wasted.
So effortless.
Yes. So just to finish my thought, I think that in terms of like how the on-chain creator house will continue to evolve or the on-chain creators network is really as a community of creators, content creators first and foremost, who like really first of all they're creative just generally. They know how to create good content. Secondly, they're interested in taking on challenges throughout the year to learn and improve on the platforms that are available to them so that they can grow an audience, monetize their content, which is always what I've been saying from day one with what we've been doing this year and some of last year too. And then for those who are like alumni, right? like Afro Chicks, uh, Jessie Fries, like these ladies, Lamb Chop. They are my first call whenever I go to an event. I call them and I'm like, we want to hire you because you've already, proven that you don't just show up, but you create banger content. And like that, I'd love to have like a list of 20, 30 creators that I can lean on and say, hey, let's go. We're going to run over here. And you're getting paid for this work. And you get to travel because guess what? The travel comes included, at least in my books. So I'd love to have Pao and Taco join this network one day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super curious because I missed the first part, I guess, but
I
you
know
were
you were late.
describing, yeah, I know. That's actually something that I'm trying to change in real life as well when I have like meetings with people IRL. But so about the Creator House, what's the next IRL steps? I think you were explaining them before, but
Hmm.
yeah, maybe the
Step
TLD.
one, join one of our creator challenges, whether that be in person or online. Hola. How you doing, Taco?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hi. Good to see you. I was in the
Wait,
wrong link. I'm sorry.
you're in the same room. How weird. But you're not next to each other.
In the
Strange.
metaverse, we're always together.
I love
All
that.
those
By
almost.
the way, Gramajo, we need to up our game, bro. Like, where's our early morning crew lobby? Look at this.
Dude,
Their
I
lobby
know.
looks dope.
I was thinking the same thing.
We also planned the renovation, so things might change. So
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like they installed the picture like the wrong way around, so that's why I'm hiding it with my face.
What do you mean? Looks good.
you know
How did
what?
they?
Like they see it correctly.
Oh no, they
Oh,
do.
yeah.
I've been trying to make such an effort to hide it the whole time. Also, in the
No.
last call we had.
Look at Taco knows. Taco's like, no, no, no. We see it wrong. The world sees it right.
That's
Exactly.
that's something to remember. Yeah.
That's right. So just to kind of answer your question there, Pao. So you join one of these online or in-person challenges at a creator house near you, and then you would, depending on what you submit, earn a reward for from our list of sponsors or partners of those events, and then you would be added into our network anytime we have an event, whether it's another challenge or some fun social collaboration with Los Fomos. You're invited to come and hang because you know what? Not everything is about like work and creation, but it could be just simply about fun. And then whenever, like, if you're proving to make an impact consistently with the content you're creating, meaning people resonate with you and your story and the way that you present information, I will remember that, and you will be the first person I call whenever I go to an event like Dev Connect and we need creators to cover the event, right? Or someone calls me, Coinbase says, "Hey, by the way, we need to create content on what the new Coinbase wallet looks like." I'm like, got it. I have 3 creators that are banger creators. Let's hire them and let's let them do it. So as my whole thing, it's like on-chain media is good, but we really need to support the creators that are building it. By the way, hint, hint, we're getting into something here. And then we, after that, we need to create content with their vision, with the way that they see the world, because I think it's important to have different perspectives. I get bored of seeing the same faces. There was a while in crypto media that I was just not watching it because I'm like, oh my God, the same 3 dudes are talking about the same 3 projects. How boring is that? In the same way, by the way. So, anything you want to say to that, Gramajo, before we obviously go into the thing that we're going to talk about?
All right, my spicy take,
Oh, oh, was
because I've been
not
thinking
ready
about
for that.
this, is fun new ideas and new people.
Oh,
That's it.
I was ready for you like burn someone. You were about to say. I was like, he's gonna do it.
No,
No,
I'll keep it vague, but that's pretty much it. You know.
you're very kind today.
Yeah.
I will add a spicy take on top of that. I will say a lot of the big companies that are claiming that creator economy has to level up and like onboard the masses, they should put their money where their mouth is.
Yes. See? That's spicy.
We can go more, but we keep
No,
it.
that I mean, you can. It depends how spicy you want to get. Obviously, it
Please
sounds like Pal
elaborate.
came ready. What was that, Grandma?
I said, please elaborate.
This show's not sponsored, so we're not necessarily burning any bridges here.
Yeah, but I think that was it for now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna keep you. I'm gonna let you keep going with what you were about to say and come back to the spicy part after.
sure. I mean, let's get into it. Taco Pal GM, and welcome to Los Fomos. We are going
Welcome
to
to Los
talk
Momos.
about your crowdfund, which is performing quite well. But more importantly, I think it's connecting in a way that I haven't seen any other crowdfund really connect with anyone in the past. I'll be the first to admit, I haven't funded anything before, So this is the first crowdfund on Farcaster through this app because I have used other platforms, but like on crowdfund.seed club, right? I think that's what it is. I've never funded anything before. But when I saw this one, even without you reaching out to me, I was like, duh, this one makes sense. So tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about Los Fomos and both of you, and then jump into this crowdfund.
Okay. I'm going to start to explain what Los Fomos is because the most popular question we get is, what is Los Fomos? And I will say that, first of all, Taco and I started the show around a year ago. This is how most people know us, through the show. And while at the beginning we were talking with builders in the space, we always had this idea to highlight the more spicy, human, authentic side of people and to connect with people this way. Because as Taco was explaining before, like you, not in this call, in another call actually, as you were explaining, she was explaining is that we actually um, want to use products and want to test products because we're also early in the space. We want to use the things that we know who's building it. We know we want to connect with those people. We want to connect with the builders. So if you know about why someone is building something and if you can connect with their personality a bit more as opposed to just their like polished LinkedIn persona, then it's that's how you find community more more than just users. So this was the reason why we started the show and made it spicy and spicier. And I feel like over time we built this community on on our Farcaster channel as well, where we do have the show, which is still a big part of it, but we also have this movement of like this vibes, fashion, music that we share with each other. And it's very much Los Fomos coded. I would say that you understand it if you join the channel. And yeah, that's it for now. Taco.
Yeah, I would agree with everything that you said, and I think I think the second part of the question was like also about the crowdfund and like how it's the first thing that kind of resonated with the space. And I think that's the reason why it resonated because throughout the year we were trying to connect and trying to bring some diversity to the space that uplifts others as well. And we were always getting a lot of support from the space. We have people who were subscribing to our Hypersub, who were collecting our episodes, and this is probably what got us where we are. And I think as we were thinking about, as a next chapter for Los Somos and taking it a little bit of more to like a next level of professionalism where you have a bit of control of the settings and what you actually can bring out for the people and target it not only to one specific platform but actually beyond that we aim in return will bring people to the community and to the platforms that we're using. I think that we thought that okay, obviously the crowd fund is not going to cover all the costs, but we could make people part of the journey and we could make them kind of feel that they actually made it because it is an extremely important part for us to actually kickstart the production. And as we, I think Nicholas reached out to us because Erica, shout out to Erica and shout out to Nicholas. She was like suggesting probably this project, these girls, they could be a, one of the users of the crowdfund. And as we had a call with Nicholas, I think it was kind of like a match because, as you said, nothing like that happened on the platform. No one was raising before with the community, and we thought it could be perfect for us. Obviously, like connecting with people, like in raising funds, but also for Farcaster to show that people who are building on Farcaster, and if they're constantly showing up, they can actually get support from the space, and for the seed club and the crowdfunding link actually to turn into something more than just like a smaller personal funding, which is also great. But I think for people who are in the space and trying to build something, it's kind of like a Kickstarter, where you can get funded and actually bring project to life. And I think it will kind of like great for everyone. And I'm really, really grateful that for the response that we got. We didn't expect for it's less than 24 hours and we're already 50% in. Um, and yeah, I think the next 50% is going to be a new challenge to figure out how we can do that and pull it off. But it's quite exciting, and I mean, like it's just a second day. But really grateful for all the support from everyone who um, showed up and supported, and for you, Humpty. Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, for like I said, for me it was a no-brainer. Even if I mean, I've seen the app. I saw when they announced that it was out and what it was intended for. And this has nothing to do with like what the other people were putting up there or who they are. This is more like what connected with me, right? Because everything about like supporting someone needs to connect with you. It isn't just about like give me money. At least not for me. Like, and I think with like both of you and Los Fomos overall, you've done a really good job at creating something that connects. And I'm speaking for myself, right? Because but I think it's true for a lot of other people based on not just this crowdfund, but also the community activity, the conversations that are happening around Los Fomos. I'm in the group chat. I think it's the producers group chat. So I think that you've built something that connects with people beyond just, hey, we're creators, or hey, we do spicy takes, or, our short form content is unique in some way. It goes beyond the material. And it's actually something that's like, no, like we're two people that you want to care about, period. End of story. But I think that all of that is encapsulated by the way that you present yourself, the stories you tell, the stories you share about yourselves, and even like the description of the crowdfund says something beyond just, hey, give me money. And as I was mentioning in the cold open with the Creator House, personally, my story about what I think is important in order to make on-chain media really thrive and succeed is we need to identify these people who are able to share a story in very unique ways, but themselves are very interesting too, and we need to support them. So for me, my donation was more of a signal than anything else. Like, these are people that I believe should have a runway to go and do something fun and just, yeah, experiment. Don't be afraid of being wrong. So yeah, that was my story with it.
Cool. Thank you so much for the contribution, by the way. And what I will add to what Taku was saying is that I think this blueprint on how to crowdfund together with your community will be interesting in the future for a lot of creators. And the fact that Taco and I didn't know anyone in person when we joined this platform, it's not like we joined the first day that Farcaster was out. We joined a bit more than a year ago. So, okay, maybe a year and a half now. Time flies. But it was not the first year. We're not a part of this like early crew, and we didn't know the people in person. I know that a lot of these people that were super early, they met each other IRL, and there was this strong community. So we kind of jumped in there, and I think even with LFers now, when I see them continuously contribute to the community, that they really build this presence, this status, this like basically showing who they are over time, and you build this trust. And with this trust, you can then go and build your own things and ask your community for help, which is great. Yeah.
Tell me, and Gramajo, jump in anytime, but tell me, like, you were talking about Kickstarter. How is what you're doing, or maybe more specifically, how is crowdfund different for you than if you were to have gone to Kickstarter? Or how is it similar as well?
That's a good question. I think it kind of goes back to the community, right? We, I don't think that we actually would start Kickstarter if we were outside and kind of like imagine that we're outside. Like, probably we would be going different paths, maybe more of a traditional, maybe attracting some kind of a funding in different ways. But again, I think it's because of the Farcaster, to be honest, like the way it's built and the way that it's you have integrated the economic models into it, and how people already have wallets, they're funded, and then they're getting rewards, so they can distribute from that. I think all these elements, like having all this in one place, where you have a community, you have the wallets, and you have basically the place where you're directly interacting with people, was very helpful. And if you imagine the Kickstarter, potentially you would need to have this community somewhere else, whether it's Discord server or I don't know, Reddit or whatever, some kind of a form of platform where you have a direct access to your supporters. But it probably also would be a little bit async, considering the type of, I don't know, like timelines and how, I don't know, the platforms function and stuff. And yeah, I think it's like the combination of everything that we have in this ecosystem.
Yeah. Also, the app that Taco built for Los Fomos, I think that's an important part because we do track and we keep track of who contributes to the community, and we want to make sure that we can see what's going on and like know who the most contributive LFers are. So we want to be with our crowdfund closest to where this app is and where we can actually give people the credit and the thanks they deserve for being there for so long and helping us, even by just sharing the crowdfunding link, not just donating. What are your experiences? Have you done Kickstarter or you haven't done anything crowdfunding
I
yet?
have. Yeah. I mean, Kickstarter's been around for a long time. And the reason why I was asking is because I felt like you did something that I don't think I've seen others do, which is very Kickstarter ish, also very Hypersub ish, Patreon, like all of these kind of systems that are built for direct incentive and rewards between, a creator and a fan, for instance, which is you tied some incentive to your crowdfund, right? You said if you meet this level, you get X. If you meet this level, you get Y, right? I'm not saying that that's why. Again, my thing was a signal, but it helped when I was like, what does that signal mean? Okay, like you've set tiers of support while not making it sound like this was just a show for money. Like 250, I was like, okay, I know where I need to be to rank in your leaderboard for me to actually express myself and be seen in terms of what I want to say about you. That's how I saw that, right? It was like a billboard to thank you. And I wanted to make sure that my thank you was visible. That was smart. That was super smart because you gamified my decision to give to you. And this is the model that Kickstarter has done, Patreon does, and to some degree, I think Hypersub does. And I've talked to Johnny about this like at length, but I think Hypersub is still missing something. I'm not sure what it is. It's a good entry point for supporting your favorite creator. Crypto Sapiens has used it for a very long time. We have a very large community built from there. It's great, but there's a disconnect between when someone chooses to give and then their ability to engage with you. I don't know if that's because Hypersub doesn't have a social feed. I think that's part of it. I would, when you look at Patreon, you support someone and you could have a conversation there as well with your supporters. Hypersub, there's a big disconnect between that and the creator and that relationship. With the crowdfund app, what's interesting is that it's built on the social network that is Farcaster. So I give my comment about what I've given now populates on the app, and we can keep having this conversation on Farcaster in the DMs, in a group chat. So I feel like the social element to the crowdfund is a huge unlock. And I think that's part of the reason why you're performing so well.
Yeah, it's an interesting point about hypersub, but without going into hypersub for now, I think about that's a good point about the feed, that everything is happening right where we're building the community and the place where people know us best, because we've been focusing heavily on Farcaster. We are not as active on Twitter or any other social platform these days. And I will say though that I think what really pushed us over the edge, and this obviously can only be really, there's no proof, we can only test it, but it was really the fact that we actually put so much work into this before we started even launching the link. We messaged the people that have been supporting us for a long time. We messaged maybe, I don't know, maybe 150 people or more, still in the process of doing so. So this is something. Then we had this long call with Nicholas where he gave us amazing tips. And I think this is what I meant when I said blueprint, the things to follow, the things to keep in mind, from gamification to content you create to keeping people engaged. Taco came up with this really interesting idea of telling a story every day. So you show a different thing, a different aspect of the crowdfunding or something related to it every day. For example, one day is about our relationship as co-founders. Another day could be, and this is actually coming up now because we reached 50% of the funds, we are going to go out and hunt for locations to film our Midnight in Los Fomos. So make it take people on the journey with you. Yeah.
Agree 100%.
But it's super interesting. I think the most interesting learning so far is where the bumps and the attention, I don't know how to call it, where the attention is the strongest, the most concentrated in one place at a specific time. We started on Tuesday, so yesterday, where it was tipping Tuesday, so people receive all their tips, and probably most people also have a little bit of funds to give away. People are online, people receive the tips, people are tipping each other, so there's a lot of attention already going on.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
timing
actually.
wasn't
Sorry, Katako. Oh, go ahead.
coincidental, I would say.
No, it sounds like there was so much strategy here. I didn't even think about that. Like the fact that Farcaster has created a new behavior, which is tipping Tuesday. You're like, got it. That behavior is a Tuesday habit. And we're going to lean into that by kicking off our campaign because psychologically, we've been, I don't want to say brainwashed, that's horrible. But we've been kind of softened to agree that that is what we do on Tuesdays. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's you can find these things to use them into your advantage. I was thinking, what's the most active day on Farcaster of the week? And then, of course, someone was like, tipping Tuesdays, of course. So, yeah. And then everything happened faster than we expected. It's great. So now we have to see how we condense our content and our activations into shorter amounts of time, because I think stretching something out for 2 weeks, looking at yesterday, it feels a bit like it feels
Losing the momentum a little bit,
Yeah.
and in 2 weeks, we're gonna be on a different place, mentally.
yeah. Exactly. I cannot not sleep for 2 weeks.
I mean, that's kind of the part of the hook, right? It's because this is happening so quickly, suddenly the people in control are the producers. I'm going to call them producers because that's what you call, people in the past. So I'll call these people the producers of the show. Is they're like, no, you wanted 2 weeks, but we're going to need this in about 4 days. And it's like, oh, got it. Timeline changed. It's pretty spicy, if you will.
It definitely is. I went to sleep at 7 a.m. yesterday, so I didn't sleep much. So yeah, I actually like, if you look at it from the creator perspective, and generally Power and I like the even idea of 2 weeks as well, because you're kind of creating the constraints of your creativity and planning and everything. But then again, with the change, we don't want to lose the momentum, and it creates another constraint. You know, you think, okay, how are we going to change our plans? How are we going to keep it going, and people be excited of being part of this?
Yeah.
I feel like every platform has introduced some new way of changing the script for creators, and the best creators lean into it pretty hard, and they get a fan base because of how well they're able to like reinvent not just themselves but the way that these platforms are maybe originally intended. Like I can think of like YouTube and some of the early successful YouTubers that were on there, and like the way that they created content and their commitment to creating that content over and over was one of the reasons why they were able to get fans. Obviously YouTube keeps evolving, and creators today like Mr. Beast, obviously they lean into a different type of attention economy from where YouTube kind of first existed, and because of that they're monetizing that platform beyond anything that anybody else is doing today, because they've kind of been able to reinvent themselves. If you look at his content from a long time ago through today, very different, but they also understand the platform very well and their audience. The same thing could be said about TikTokers. I know that there was a while where there was these like non-playable characters, and they were like cashing in all this money because they realized, oh, all we got to do is stream for like 2 days straight and just perform, really, and we're going to be able to like monetize this attention because it's unique and interesting in the way I present it. The thing that I'm thinking right now is you're basically performing something that you were planning to do, but you're having to reinvent that because of the way that this is playing out from your audience. And you're able to really understand what your audience wants and in some way give it to them, so that at the end, even if you were maybe a passing kind of name in the Farcaster wind, that they said, yeah, I'm going to support like $1, right? Which, $1 goes a long way. Thank you for donating $1. Now, through this performance, you've got a super fan. And they're like, oh, shoot, like I didn't realize that they were this cool, or that they were going to like lean into this like pretty heavily because of the way that this is all evolving in front of them. So I think that that is quite unique to you, because I don't think I've ever seen that from any creator on Farcaster, especially.
It's a good point. I feel like you see this a lot about like the people that we follow and take inspiration from on TikTok, for example. They do a lot of these things where they share a goal publicly. They share the steps that they're going to take to get to this goal. And even though there's maybe no crowdfunding involved, I feel like this public goal setting and like gaining attention this way is very common on different platforms. And it's just it's a great idea, like to just use that for crowdfunding and kind of bootstrap this, take these 2 weeks or less time to get the most attention possible and turn those people into new LFers, because a lot of those probably haven't seen us before. And I was also doing some cold outreach to some people, asking them if they want to donate, just because even if they haven't seen us before, you might really like the show. So taking it as an introduction as well. And then they realize, okay, this is actually kind of indirectly flowing back into the Farcaster economy, because the people that we're going to onboard through our IRL series that we're going to record, they are going to join the Los Fomos channel one way or the other. So it's kind of a, like a, everyone wins, you know?
I know Gramajo had been in my ear about your crowdfund and him trying to understand your strategy. Gramajo, did you have any questions specifically, or have they revealed the entire pie here? I don't even know if that's a saying. I usually come up with some weird sayings. Have they given you the whole pie,
Spill the
sir?
beans.
It's
Spill the
like,
beans.
no idea what that means. Thanks.
You usually say spill the beans, spill the
There
tea,
you go.
cocktail. Spill the
Spill the
cocktail.
cocktail. Have they spilled the whole cocktail?
Yeah, I liked the gamification aspect of it. Um, I think that was very smart.
We might have actually a few things coming up, which we're probably not going to be announcing yet. But as we were thinking a bit how we're gonna create another like push of attention. So we might do two things. Again, it was planned in a 2 weeks time, but then now we're probably gonna do it way earlier. It'll be interesting to see how it's gonna play out and how it's gonna um, change the situation, and again also influence how future crowdfundings, you know, gonna be performed. But yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
can
yes.
already think of some ideas for myself. And again, I'm not asking money for me. But if anybody's been following, they know that my intention is to make sure that creators get paid. So I travel the world and I host events or hold space for creators who are curious about on chain media, creators who are already on on-chain media but want to learn how to improve and monetize their content, because there's a big difference between being a good creator, being an on-chain media creator, and making money, period, whether you're coming from either world. So my goal is to ensure that they get paid while they're running these experiments. So maybe coming soon, I might have a campaign or a crowdfund myself for the creators that I want to host, where I end up next.
It's also an interesting idea, like aggregating a group of creators and then maybe seeing what you can do together, maybe a
Hmm.
crossover that people didn't see before. And then this is an extra motivation to give to it. Like, I would donate to a crossover with a specific reality star if I wanted to see them collaborate with someone. If
Hmm.
I can help make it happen, why not?
Yeah, I'm going to come to you for strategy advice for sure, because you definitely figured it out.
I mean, we haven't reached the goal yet, right?
Okay, tell me about that. So, does the crowdfund work the way that other crowdfunds work, where if you don't reach 100% of the goal, you don't get the funds?
Yeah, it kind of works like that. So at the end, the protocol is designed in a way that it doesn't release the funds unless you meet the goal. But you can, when you don't hit the goal, people get prompted to withdraw their donation and then they can decide to give it to you anyways. But this is a few extra steps that I think is a lot of work to actually remind people to withdraw and to donate
Hmm.
anyways. So the goal is definitely to hit the
Yeah.
goal.
Well, I don't see why you wouldn't hit it, honestly. At
Yeah,
the rate that you're going,
I feel like,
um, you seem to be
well,
doing really well.
if we look at the timing and how it has slowed down, which is totally normal, like I would say that at some point, because it's a small network, you exhaust your bubble of people and community that you have engaged over time. But I think this makes it even more interesting because you have to come up with other methods to meet the goal. So we're thinking about maybe three different strategies how we can get there. We will see. It's a cool experiment. It's really fun, I have to say.
Taco, I believe you said you needed to jump out early. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you wanted us to cover before you had to leave?
No, I don't think so. Other than just thanks everyone for the support, and yeah, if somebody didn't donate yet, I hope this session maybe inspired people to support creators like us, because we often say that content is the future and how it onboards people. Well, yeah, this is that content that is going to be onboarding people. So if you really think so, yeah, happy to see you in our supporters club. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I am looking forward to that content. I think I've said that we need more creators that have an understanding of content outside of what crypto media looks like, because I feel like a lot of creators start on chain because it's new and novel and there's an opportunity, but they don't necessarily study content that really connects outside of crypto media. So going to TikTok and like studying the best performing creators, going to YouTube and studying the best performing creators there, and then creating a style that matches you and your vision with what works. And I think a handful of people have figured that out. And those are the people that I'm excited about, because I want to see that vision with the products or ideas that exist in this world, especially as like I think on-chain media especially has been developing this year, and with the platforms that are set to launch later this year like Coinbase Wallet, they have hundreds of millions of users. Like these people are sitting there waiting for their attention to be captured or their imagination. Their attention's already captured, but capture their imagination with the stories that you tell, with the apps that you build. And I think creators like you are primed for success because of your understanding of traditional media and on chain media.
Taco, you muted it if you were saying something.
I was saying, yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I kind of need to jump off. So um, thanks for having me, and see you in the timeline of Farcaster, I guess. Thanks. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
See you, Taco. Thanks for your time. Well, that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for you specifically, Pal, like what do you see happening in on-chain media in the next year? Or at least maybe more specifically, how do you see on-chain media being integrated to the stories you tell at Los Fomos in the next year?
On-chain media. So specifically, um,
Stuff you put on Coinbase Wallet, for instance, or if you're minting your content on pods, or if you're, even like crowdfund. Like that's, I would say, some form of on-chain
mhm,
media, especially as it's
yeah,
supporting your creative efforts.
definitely. I think what I have in mind, for example, for Midnight in Los Fomos, the next step that we're taking with the crowdfund, we definitely want to continue dropping our episodes on chain. So everything that will be recorded IRL will be dropping on YouTube and some other social networks, but definitely YouTube and pods, and give people the chance to support us this way. Whether we will continue to do sponsored mints, not sure about that. We will see. But yeah, we will continue to do that. Although I would love to get more Web2 based partners on board. So, because for the show, what we have planned is a range of partnerships that will kind of step by step open the doors to the fashion, the creative world, a lot of the things that you find in Paris, luckily. So yeah, I would say it will be a part, because we want to track people's contributions, right? We want to see who are the LFers that are really sticking around with us, that are helping us grow. And for example, the app that Taco developed on Farcaster is helping us to do that. These are on-chain interactions that we track, partly on-chain, partly not on-chain. So we have to continue our on-chain journey to actually be able to see later on across different platforms what are people contributing to us. And I think this is the way that, kind of coming back to why we're building this app as well, that Taco is developing. But there's no current way that you as a creator have an overview of what was doing what, right? We had this conversation before in a call, I think. There's just a lot of touch points as a creator, and if there's no coherent way to manage all those, then you can't grow, and that's just a fact. And if you don't have the information that you kind of need access to negotiate better deals with partnerships, then you're not in the power position. And I think overall, I would just want to see that creators can take the power position, because they make the world go round. I mean, it's true, right? They capture all the attention. Us, hopefully, in the future too.
I mean, I think that that's what makes you and Taco very special is that you have that understanding of traditional media. You're studying like what works. You understand that brand deals are a big part of how, creators find success in traditional media and in on-chain media too. There's nothing different. But you're also able to marry the two when it comes to how you engage a community of people who are on chain. I would say probably that's the best way that I would describe kind of this experiment that you're doing is traditional media meets on-chain communities. You understand the way that content is discovered and
Hmm.
trends on traditional platforms versus oh everything needs to be on chain, which I think that's not true. I actually had a whole series about this on gaming, where like on-chain games was the subject matter, and what we ended up finding out was if everything is on chain is actually not a very good experience. However, you can have some core elements that are on chain that provide some new unlock, but doesn't really kind of hamper the user experience. And I think what I'm hearing from you is the same is true for content creators.
Yes, I would overall I would say absolutely agree. You can't, I mean, this is a very siloed ecosystem that we're all operating in, and our goal is to bring people from the outside in so that we all benefit more from what's going on inside the bubble and show other people that this is the way to go and to grow in the future. But then, yeah, you have to reach those people somehow, and I just, you have to meet them where they are. You can't expect them to just come to where you are and drop everything they're doing because this is their existence, this is their life, this is how they make their living. It's also very scary to think for people from the outside, all this tech stuff going on, it's really a different world. So the more examples there are of shows that don't seem like they're on chain, they just seem like regular shows, the more understanding there will be that this is something for everyone. It's not just for a specific group of tech nerds that like the blockchain or whatever. So I think this will be the way to go. But I think there will be many different ways people will go about it. Let's see. What do you think? And what do you and Gramajo think?
I think Grabajo might be in another meeting.
Oh,
I'm here.
What do you think, Gramajo? Gramajo's like, I'm taking another call. Hang on.
you
I did do that. I'm very good at being
also
on two things at
also
once.
we I talked with Humpty a lot in the call that we had last time. But what's your media sort of experience in general?
For me,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think mine has been slow building, I would say. So just trying to find unique ways to get funding and do experiments, um, and a lot of just educating because I kind of focus a lot on like very new ideas. I would say like very abstract ideas. Like I spent like 3+ months heavily into like futarchy, and I think people are like this guy won't shut up about it.
In
Which is
what
like a
space?
concept or idea that like most people aren't even familiar with at this point.
What was the name you said?
Futarchy.
What's that?
So it's basically it's like poly market for decision making. That's kind of like the fastest way to describe it.
Okay.
So I'll give you like a really simple example. It's like let's say you have a stock or a token price of a company like Uniswap, and they say they want to fire their head of marketing, and so they put a market out saying like if we fire this person, what's going to happen to the Uniswap token? And
Hmm.
so me and like Humpty was like we were talking about the marketing team yesterday. So if people can bet saying like, hey, the price of the Uniswap token will actually drop if we fire the head of marketing, and people can say no, I think it's actually going to go up because I think this person's really bad at marketing, and so you start betting real money, so like 100 USDC, and then you start creating a market on like if we fire this person, the price is actually going to be higher. Then that's a signal to you and to the community saying we should probably fire this person because everyone seems to be excited if we fire this person that the stock or the token price is going to go up.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of the content I do is regarding very like forward, very complex ideas. So just trying to like make that entertaining is difficult, and also funding that is very difficult. You know, so
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
that's where I've been at. So my experience is like a little different, I would say. I don't know.
And how did you two meet and start creating the early morning crew together?
Humpty reached out to me actually, which was great.
Yeah,
He
Gramajo, you undersell yourself. Like I feel like Gramajo has deep knowledge in DeFi, more than most of us. And more importantly, he has this unquenching thirst for understanding DeFi, and not just like by reading white papers, but by actually using it. So, like, we're part of a couple of DAOs, particularly like Nounish DAOs. So that's how I started kind of running into Gramajo, aside from Farcaster and reading Area 51, because I was a subscriber on Paragraph at least and reading your content. And so when Gramajo talks about like his content, it is very much more of a like digestible content about like how can you use this to like monetize this, or how can you use this to create more sustainable funding for this, right? It's quite a unique perspective, and I understand that it's very different, but I think that's more like know your audience kind of thing. It's not going to be the same people following Los Famos, right? Or Crypto Sapiens. Like I think all three of us actually have audiences that at some point converge, but for the most part really have different interests. I would say maybe Los Fomos has more of a cultural interest, whereas like people coming to create Crypto Sapiens have more of a creative or creative tech interest, and people coming to Area 51 have more of a DeFi, and governance interest. So yeah, I met Gramajo in all these places, and he's been consistently sharing how we can use all of these tools to create more sustainable runways for these products and communities. And yeah, when I was looking for a cohort of people who were going to join the early morning crew, really was kind of like a tongue in cheek joke at late night crew who were doing this, but for developers. I wanted to do something for creators. And so I reached out to the creators that I knew. And yeah, we've had about 6 or 7 people at one point.
yeah
It was pretty crowded.
yeah
And then we've kind of thinned it out where it was, it's for the last couple of months, it's been Gramajo, myself, and Diana, who couldn't be here today. But we've been consistently talking about kind of the creator economy and more importantly, the creator economy on Farcaster.
yeah. We
Cool.
also try and learn like in general, like
Hmm.
we share because like everyone's like Umpty said, like we all kind of bring our own flavor. So like Tree Girl, I would say she actually kind of did something like what you did or what you're doing right now with your crowdfunding, if I'm not mistaken, with like the Rehash podcast. It's kind of like she sort of fundraised, I believe on Mirror, if I'm not mistaken. Like they had like a fundraising mechanism like
Oh,
3 years ago.
okay.
So she brings like that whole world and her experience with that and like kind of running her media sort of like a DAO essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
then
I saw
Humpty
it.
brings like his perspective as well, and then I bring, like, and then we all kind of just share like with each other like learnings, things that we're seeing, tools, and Diana brings the spice. I bring the deeper analysis, and Humpty tries to keep us all
Diana
moving in
is
the right
super
direction.
spicy. She would have been perfect for this episode for sure.
Oh, I hope to
We
meet
all
her.
have our roles to play.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
hope
I'm
to
the
meet
dad
her.
of the group apparently.
Okay. As yeah, I think I've never met Diana before. I've just seen her around for a while. She was one of the earliest podcasts I've seen that were dropping on pods, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, interesting that she also did fundraise with Mirror. I didn't know how. Yeah, how did how did she get started with Rehash? I can also ask that myself. I can ask
Yeah.
her myself if
Well,
I see
Yeah.
she's
it.
been a creator for a long time.
Hmm.
She used to do the podcast for, I believe it was Rabbit Hole in like another company, like she was doing their media, and then she launched her mirror race, which was a way of like collecting funds through like a gamified domain challenge where it's like if you win you get a domain but you also get to like raise funds on this platform, and it was very competitive in the early days. I tried and I failed, to run my own mirror race, because you needed to be like the top 5 of that week in order to win and raise funds. And I just never got into the top 5. I think I might have tried it like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, yeah, this is I don't know how this works, and so I'm not gonna just keep trying for the sake of it. But yeah, after that, like she said, she's funded it, and then she's obviously collaborates with brands to create sponsored content, but also to just generally sponsor her content for like a quarter or so on. So yeah, and she's her way of like creating content is quite like very like it's very smart, but it's also very fun. And it's interesting because I think that there's some parallels here. Now I've been to 2 different like in-person events where she has a spice challenge, and you are just eating stuff with like hot peppers. That was the one in Thailand, and I was recording content while I was there, and it was pretty spicy. I can say
Thai
Oh, I
people don't
never.
play.
I didn't see that. That's something I should totally see. Is it on Twitter,
it's
YouTube?
everywhere. Yeah, she's probably put it on pods, but it'll be on YouTube and X for sure.
Mm. Okay, I have to check it out because we love the spice.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've seen some
Yeah,
people like crumble under the spice.
yeah. Some people have had Cassie. We've had her on the show, and she eats spicy sauce that is as I think 5 times as spicy as pepper spray. So
Wow.
yeah, but we're more like on the side of drinking spicy drinks instead of eating spicy things. Like
Yeah.
that too, but that's our thing, I would say.
Mm. So, what's your favorite spicy drink?
Oh, wait, hold that up again. I have to take a screenshot. I take one for the memories.
Hang on.
Oh, Luffy. So cute. Wow. I didn't know you
There you
got
go.
them. Got them.
There you go.
Okay.
Leave it on there for the rest of the show.
That's
Not
not.
sponsored by Los Fomos.
It's a bit like it reminds me of the partnership that I forgot which actor or sports person it was, but they had a partnership with Puma, and they were wearing these Puma contact lenses.
Oh wow.
And because they were not allowed to have anything on their body, so they basically were hiding the Puma lenses under their eyes, and then it kind of went viral. I have to find it. That was the best.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. Oh, I'm gonna get LASIK, so maybe I'll just laser a logo on there while I'm at it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Imagine I'm like base. For $1 million, you can have your logo on my eyeballs.
Wow, you would get an extra role in our Los Pomos app if you did that.
Well, yeah, because I'd probably be dropping some more change onto your crowdfund.
Yeah. Oh,
if I got $1 million sponsorship for lasering a logo on my eyeballs, I would definitely make sure to spread the wealth.
yeah.
I
True.
actually did have a question for you.
Okay, go
'Cause
ahead.
these are the type of questions you get from me. Sorry, but like, um, so it's kind of nerdy. But like, do you feel like the data that you're getting from your Farcaster app is richer than like some of the Web2 data? So I don't know if you upload like to TikTok or YouTube, but like,
Hmm.
do you feel like it's
No,
about equal, a little richer? What are your thoughts on that?
I will say the data from Web2 is way richer in terms of giving us insights into what we can act on and improve. YouTube is fantastic, even though we're not currently super active on YouTube. YouTube is fantastic. TikTok is great because you see where people drop off, what makes them click through, things like these that really make allows you to improve the content. So what we rather do is, for example, we have so much content pre-recorded for this crowdfunding campaign that we would optimize it for TikTok, for example, and then just repost it on web three platforms like Pods and Farcaster, because there's no way for us to understand how to create the video on Farcaster, for example, in a way that it will perform really well. There's not enough insight on this.
Yeah.
So I would say that what the app does, though, and what it will do in the future, right now it's a very basic version. It basically shows us who has collected what and who has been an OGLFer and who has not been an OGLFer. So we basically assign roles to people that allows us to restrict or allow future access to things. And for now, the data, for example, we get from pods, it's really not that much. So there's basically YouTube embedded now. So I don't even know where the pods team is going. We had some conversations and they wanted to do something, but it's been a while ago. And yeah, no.
I
Until
think you need to that point, you need whoever's building for on-chain media needs to figure out distribution first.
yeah,
And I think to your point, pods is great for like monetizing a very small segment of your population, but there isn't really enough distribution for it to be like your main like platform, like where you can put a lot of focus. So because there's a YouTube link, it's easier and probably better to embed content on pods for distribution on Farcaster. So to that point, I think that it's a good tool, but in itself doesn't have the distribution necessary, right? And so I'd love to see more attention given to that area of what they're building. However, like with Coinbase Wallet, if that same kind of link applies where you have distribution from your content on pods through Farcaster, then you will have a bigger audience that can consume your content directly in app on Coinbase Wallet. Or if the monetization isn't something you care for so early in that relationship where someone's viewing your content, then just put your content natively onto Farcaster, especially short form content. Because I think what I've seen on Coinbase Wallet is your content performs much better if you upload it directly to Coinbase Wallet because they give that a boost, is what I'm reading just based on how my own content performs. If I put my content up on Farcaster natively, that's one thing. But if you upload it to Coinbase Wallet directly, I see more views and it's featured on their like video reel as well.
okay. Yeah, with Coinbase Wallet, I haven't used it that much, but that's mainly because when I post there, I can't post into channels, and Los Fomos is where we want to drive the attention. So I was torn between trying it out and actually staying true to the Los Fomos channel, which is, I guess, also the next question is where do channels go in the future? No one's sure about that.
We had a whole 1 week event that I hosted with Recipsa called Official Channels Day, which was June 7th. But we did a whole week long campaign where we brought a lot of attention to channels and channel creators and channel members. And we had Dan, and he gave his own spicy takes on the future of channels. And my take is they're not going away, but they're going to work very differently on Farcaster, the app.
Yep.
There are other builders like OpenRank or Kira who want to build out channel specific experiences. So for me, and I've said this before, I want anybody who I meet in in the IRL event, if I'm in Buenos Aires or I'm in New York or I'm in Paris, when I tell them go to app.cryptosapiens.xyz, that app is my forum and that forum lives on Farcaster. And literally it's just my CryptoSapiens channel, but it doesn't necessarily require you to like do the whole Farcaster onboarding. You're onboarding specifically to my channel. And so the conversations that you're having and the conversations that you're seeing are conversations that are happening in the channel. And the people who are engaging with you are the members of that channel. I'd like to see that. We'll see who built it.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I understand that what we have right now is not working. I just I'm looking forward to what they're going to come up with. I think in any case there's just a lot of room for improvement, and there's maybe not one right way to go about it, and open for what the team is going to try. I just I mean, we have our connections on chain now, so no one can take them away from us technically. So yeah, just we'll see where it leads.
I'll send you a link to a conversation that's happening almost immediately after this around channels. So if you
Oh,
want to jump in, if you have time, I'd recommend it.
is it moderated by you two as well?
No, it's moderated by the Cura team.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it would be great to send it over. I probably have to jump soon and actually have to go outside, but I might be able to tune in from my headphones. I've seen this call around, I think. I just wasn't able to join before.
Yep, I'll send you the link. All right,
Thank
well, we can close it off here. Anything you'd like to say that we haven't said yet before we close out?
Maybe I can ask with a spicy. I can end it with a spicy question for you two. Um, why or no? Okay, let's say who would you not reinvite as an interview guest, and why? Usually we ask people this question, and then we say if you don't want to answer, then you have to take a spicy sip, add some spice, and take a shot.
All right, Grandma, you go first. Who would you not want to invite back to your
Whoa, whoa,
podcast?
whoa.
Don't be scared, Grandma. Do it.
I need time to think.
This
Like,
is like truth or dare. We
I
do
know.
truth
Is this for early morning crew, my podcast, or what? Anything?
anywhere.
Early morning crew, let's say for now, just
All
to
right.
keep it simple.
Anytime. Yeah, it's like, trying to think of everyone that we've had on there.
I am trying to think of everybody we've had on. I don't know. Like normally it's just us kind of
Chatting.
jamming on like what's happening. Well, we've had a few people on here, and the people we've had were cool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make more broadly across all the podcasts that I've hosted because I do like a lot of series.
Uh,
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the thing out loud.
Oh,
I don't like people who literally anywhere and everywhere that you've heard them say the same thing. It just feels like a shill. Like you're just using a podcast or a live stream to sell your product. When you go on stage in conferences, you say the same thing. Like it is just that's boring. Like that's also not authentic.
yeah.
And I can use someone as an example because I will be spicy. I don't care.
Okay.
Um, one person that I looked up to a lot early in my career of understanding a very specific niche of blockchain, which is decentralized identity, was Evan. She was the founder of Disco.
Ah, yeah,
Now
really.
she's with Polygon ID. I think one thing that if I were to talk to her and be like, hey, you can improve this, is like, just be you, be authentic, bring you to the spaces. Don't sound like a broken record. Everywhere that I've heard her in person and online, it just sounds the same. And it's like, I get it. You're trying to sell a vision and you have to be repetitive. That's not fun. So that would be
Interesting.
my spicy take.
I will say I will make a comment before we go to your spicy take, Ramajo. But for I will say that this is the reason why we are very selective with people we invite, and we will be even more selective going forward. If I read about someone and I feel like they sound like a broken record and they don't say anything interesting, that makes me want to listen to them for half an hour or an hour. I will not invite them to Los Fumos because it's gonna, well, it's kind of a challenge to also break the ice and like break through and make the person more spicy, you know. This is also what we try to do at the beginning. But yeah, those are the people that are very good for a very specific type of campaigns and presentations for products, but very specific. Like they will maybe get booked for conferences to talk, but this is great if that's their goal, as you said. But not, for example, the thing that we want for people to experience. Now you go, Ramajo, sorry.
you're good. No worries. Give me time to think. I like that. Okay. I've actually been thinking about this recently, so I won't give you a specific person, but I'll
Okay.
give you a category of
You
people
got to. You've got to. Bro, I could have kept it general. You've got to. You got to give me an example, like such as how this person does it. There's nothing against them. It's just about your argument about why you wouldn't invite people like that.
I want to, for
Do
me
it.
specifically, I'll say, because I also interview people text based, like for my newsletter,
Mm-hmm.
artists, like NFT artists, is is a category I've decided that I'm not going to focus on as much, and why I've been moving to more builders, because like most like standard advice is to niche down, right? So there wasn't many people like focused on artists, and there's it's too clicky. Like it's too art culture is too up for debate. It's too messy, and honestly, they're too flaky. That's like the real reason is I like the worst thing that I've had happen is I'll spend 4 hours like doing like interview prep or questions and research like to make sure that I don't ask people the same question over and over again because I also feel like that's part of the issue
Yeah.
on why they're
True.
saying the same thing over and over again because people
So
are
right.
asking them the same questions over and over again. So I try not to ask that, and then you get ghosted, and I'm following up with them weekly, bi-weekly, once a month. I'm like, yo, I sent you questions, thoughts, answers, nothing. So I'm like, okay, I don't have time for this. Like, I have a full time job in real life, so I'll I'll just say artist,
Okay.
NFT
Interesting.
artist.
Give me one
Interesting.
artist. Give me one
Well, I think
artist.
it depends, you know. So like,
It
I've had
also was like, who would you not invite back? So, who was that artist that burned you?
well, I actually had a question to a question. Do you feel obligated to release that content if it's not something you feel comfortable with?
You're asking
I'm
Humpty or me?
asking you, Paul. Yeah.
Um, I would never feel no, no,
No.
because I'm building a brand. First and foremost, it's a brand, and it needs to be content that I want to consume. And if I don't want to consume it, then it goes to the trash or it goes on the archive. You know?
All
No,
right.
because like you can, if the person wants to like, we've had people like go completely off track. I think sometimes because we also let it happen. We were bad moderators. We're just getting started. So if that's the case, then I will reserve the right to do whatever I want with the content and not publish it because it's going to damage the brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is your business,
Yeah.
Gramajo. Like you're the final boss, right? Like if the content doesn't resonate with you, if the story they told doesn't benefit your audience, what's the point?
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
that's why I kind of like live streams too, though, to be honest with you, because the content's going out there into the ether as we're having it. After the fact, you can go back and get short form content from it if it hits and then share it on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, on Farcaster instead of sharing the whole content, which also, by the way, long form content is very hard to produce. And interviews, that's not the way to really grow an audience. You would need to create more curated content that tells a story that connects with your story. So again, that's why Los Fomos I think really resonates with people because they take the essence of a conversation and they keep it spicy throughout.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is some tough questions.
Yeah. And I also, I'm, I mean, it feels nice to receive, it sounds like a compliment as if we figured out a way to do that, but I feel like we're at the very beginning of figuring out how to keep people interested. Now that we are on TikTok and we're trying to grow a bit there, it's super hard and also
Mhm.
discouraging if you would spend an hour editing a video and then it gets like 0 views, even though you were like matching it with the hooks and the intros that other videos that were really successful were using. So yeah, I think that's another story though.
Mm.
But yeah,
What's your TikTok? Drop the handle.
yeah, it's Los Pomos.
Yeah. I
Nice.
actually
That's a
follow
good
you.
domain.
Ah, yes, Grandma, who you're following us, I think.
I'm gonna have to go follow. Go follow Los Fomos. Let's do it all together right now before we hang up.
Yes, let's
I
go
only
follow.
started using TikTok this year because I've been very vocal about my dislike,
Do you have an
but
account?
I do. Well, Crypto Sapiens has an account. It's Crypto
Wow.
Sapiens underscore because apparently someone was already sitting on Crypto Sapiens.
Oh, that's
Like,
surprising.
yeah, like how dare you? Do you know who we are?
You can ask them if you can buy the handle. I was actually doing that with Instagram. There was an account called Los Fomos, and so
Look
we
at that.
decided,
Those are great thumbnails.
ah, thanks. I mean, we're trying different things, okay? We're kind of trying to find our rhythm on TikTok, but we haven't found the perfect way yet. I think it's consistency as well, like need to
Hmm.
prioritize it. But yeah, someone on Instagram had the Los Fomos handle. I texted them, please, would you mind? Could I get it? Could I buy it from you? Whatever. And they said no. Our page is not active. It was like a group of people traveling together, and the last picture was posted in 2019. And they were like, no, it's such great memories. We don't want to lose this handle. So yeah, no Los
So,
Fomos on Instagram for now.
oh, on Instagram. I was like, but you still got it.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you,
yeah. That was TikTok. We do have
okay.
Los Fomos on Instagram as well, but we're gonna cross post our TikToks on Instagram too.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I've been, I do a lot of research on like content creation, and the usual advice is focus on like two platforms where you create unique content for each. Everything else is just distribution. You just use the same content on LinkedIn, use the same content on YouTube or on, Farcaster even, because at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to create content that connects with the way that people consume content on these platforms. And TikTok, I think, is quite unique. And if you can figure that out, I think you can cross posting on Instagram and YouTube Shorts to some degree. You can get the value returned versus like over subscribing yourself to like platforms as well, which is easy to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we decided to focus on, well, TikTok and YouTube,
Yeah.
but we'll see
Yeah,
how
and
it goes.
YouTube's rolling out cool stuff. They're doing like communities now as well.
Hmm.
I've seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like posts and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm definitely experimenting with that.
Cool. I'm gonna
Sweet.
check it out. What's the name of your channel?
I think it's just Gramajo as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, we can cut it off here. That we're not just like fading out into the ether.
Yeah. For now.
Thank you, Pal, for coming, and Taco, who was here earlier. It was really fun to learn more about you, but also Los Fomos and your vision. But more importantly, what I'm taking away is you are very knowledgeable about traditional media and what works. And I'm excited to see you experiment and cut through the noise with your story. And being a part of it through the crowdfund is just icing on the cake. So I appreciate you.
I
Yeah,
really
I gotta go
appreciate.
contribute.
Oh, sorry. I cut you off.
No, I was just saying I just gotta go contribute.
Oh,
I
okay.
got sold.
Oh, well, I'm glad we got you sold.
I was
Gonna,
sold before. I was just fussy.
okay, okay. Fine, fine. Yeah, so we're super grateful for the donations and for the shares because it helps us break out of our little bubble and reach more eyeballs. So thank you, Hamchi, um, Ramajo, also for talking with us about this today. And I hope we reach the goal because I want to meet Taco in person for the first time.
Same. All righty. Thank you, everybody. We're going to stop the stream here and then we'll keep an eye out for shorts coming out after this.
Oh, we'll
Yeah,
do.
I'll create some as well.